Welcome to Into the Words, a podcast from the Highlights Foundation Retreat Center. Today in our cabin, we have three dear friends, all part of our Diversity Fellowship. Before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about the Diversity Fellowship in Children's Literature. It is a program that we started this year at the Highlights Foundation, where we have 10 fellows, and each fellow is paired with a mentor over a 2-year program where the students will be here for 5 workshops over 2 years, 3 of them as part of the Diversity Fellowship cohort, and 2 workshops of the Author Illustrator's Choice. At summer camp, we had 3 fellows joining us as this is their choice. So I'd like to jump right in. Daria, will you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about summer camp?
Hi, I'm Daria, and summer camp was such a joy. It was really a great experience. I loved that I was able to work both on my YA novel and develop new ideas for picture books. I loved the balance of time to write and workshopping time. I felt like the workshops were very pertinent to exactly what I was working on. And so a lot of times in the workshops, I was able to revise sections of my work in progress with the actual tools that were being taught at the same time. And I thought that was just so productive that I was able to see it modeled and then practice it while the mentor was there to ask questions and get feedback about. I absolutely loved being fed 3 meals a day and snacks in between and endless coffee. And I don't think people realize how special that is when you're creating and you don't have to worry about anything except for creating.
With the Diversity Fellowship, who is your mentor?
My mentor is Floyd Cooper.
Okay, and you told me about a conversation you had with Floyd, and just describe a little bit about the kind of the project, the piece that you and Floyd talked about.
So Floyd is helping me as a mentor develop my next picture book idea. And one of the conversations, we've had several conversations about the process of that. For me, the fellowship is so important. I didn't go to art school, and that for my career has always been what I felt like a gap in my learning. And one thing that artists have told me along the way is that it wasn't necessarily art school that prepared them for this career, but it was the mentorship of an art teacher within that program that really helped develop who they are as artists. And so I really feel like the mentorship is filling that gap for me, and that one-on-one creative process that I have as a new illustrator. You don't have access to a network of illustrators to have ideas, bounce ideas off of, or email for questions, or so that the relationship that we're cultivating is really important, that he's been in the game for a very long time and he has so much wisdom that he's been able to share with me along the way, self-affirming wisdom that helps me become a little bit more settled in a career that I don't really know a whole lot about. Particularly in our project, my biggest goal for this fellowship was to move from a somewhat traditional process that I've used for my previous work into a completely traditional process. And so we've talked about those steps to be able to do that. And he's just been super supportive about that, actually showing me different ways that I could approach this project in a traditional manner. And I'm really excited about what the outcome will be.
Oh, wow. Now you have, I know there's one book. Tell me the name of your book.
So my debut picture book was This Is It. It came out in 2018 with Green Willow HarperCollins. And then I was the illustrator of Gloria Takes a Stand by Jess Rinker with Bloomsbury. And my companion picture book that goes along with this is called I Got Next. And I Got Next comes out July 30th.
Wow, that's right around the corner.
Yes, a few weeks away. Thank you.
Jessica, I'll turn to you. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about your writing?
Sure. My name is Jessica Galán. I come from West Hartford, Connecticut. I'm a full-time teacher, and I believe that my writing is inspired by the stories that I witness, the experiences that I go through. And with the fellowship, I'm planning on working on a novel in verse, which focuses on Sofia Colon, who leaves the island of Puerto Rico. She leaves Punta Santiago, and she emigrates to a very urban, inner city, gritty Hartford. And so she's leaving this seaside village after the storm, and she's carrying an internal storm within because she's lost her father during Hurricane Maria. I had the fortunate opportunity to witness students who did arrive after Hurricane Maria into my school district, and I just really admired their resilience. And so the idea came about when I was walking through a really gorgeous, diverse part of Hartford, Connecticut that just took me away with the setting and the bodegas, the apartments so close together, and just very different from Punta Santiago, which is a seaside village town. And I want to capture Sophia's voice, and I want to see her just become this resilient young woman who is able to advocate for an undocumented sub-character's issue, her problem, and she's going to go in and just be an advocate for herself and for this young lady who I think we're going with the idea of sexual trafficking. There is a man who's taken advantage of undocumented women, and she happens to be probably like 17 or 18.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That sounds like a big undertaking.
It is, but I noticed that the Hartford students are going through a lot of painful things. I had a young man who kind of divulged, "Oh, Miss Galán, you know, my mom's in jail," and I didn't know how to react to that. It was just really hard. I want to make sure that I channel that through my romantic character by the name of Tower, whose mom is in jail. So I say to myself, how can I affirm and not forget the students who I've had the opportunity to teach? What can I bring in from their truths, turn them into fiction, and make sure that the words are going to empower any reader? I want people to be empowered by what I write throughout the next couple of years here. That's my goal.
And were you able to work on this project here this week at summer camp?
I was able to work on this project with my mentor for summer camp, Kathy, and she is phenomenal. I felt like we really connected. There was just like a little an energy, and we really vibed together. She's amazing, and I just felt, especially last night when we were doing our open mic readings, I just felt like I needed to kind of, look her way, and then she gave me this amazing hug, and she just kind of felt like mama to me.
Your plans?
Hi, my name is Trisha. I am a freelance editor, 2018 Pitch Wars YA mentor, associate editor for Foreshadow, a serial YA anthology, and a writer. I'm working on a YA contemporary, which I have been working on since 2017, and I am hoping to be querying that project later on this year. And this fellowship came at the perfect time. I am so glad that my Pitch Wars mentee encouraged me to apply, because I almost didn't, because this has allowed for so much more space to work than I had before. As a low-income individual, you spend so much of your time and energy worrying about the money that you have to make and the time that you have to spend on things that are not the project of your heart, that thing that you can't stop thinking about. And more than anything, that's what this fellowship has really allowed me to have without guilt, is that time and space to put into myself that I normally would not be able to. And so, especially with this last week here at summer camp where I didn't really know what to expect, I was able to finish this draft that I've been trying to finish since the beginning of the year, but didn't have time. And that feels so good to be able to say, like, I finally got it done because there was space to do that. And also just the workshops that we also had this week were all so relevant to the things that I was talking about with my mentor for summer camp, Tiffany D. Jackson. And I already am seeing where I can take this story and how I can make it stronger before I get ready to query it. I've already started up my revision list for this next round, and I'm so excited to get back into it. It feels like there's hope now that I can actually do this thing and get going on this next step.
And in the conversation we had, I thought it was neat that you are very determined with your plan, and you've done summer camp, and you've said you finished your draft, and now you'll be working on this at the whole novel workshop in another 3 weeks.
Yep, I will be here very soon to be putting even more work into it, and I'm so excited to do that.
Well, thank you. I think as we talked about what this fellowship would look like, we hope that it would be self-selecting enough that you can get out of it what you want, so that it sounds like you can choose your project, you can choose the specific workshops that might work wherever you are on your journey. Before we end, does anybody have anything else they'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. It's very humbling that an entire foundation supports careers of people who have dreams that without it probably couldn't be attained. I think we all have dreams, but dreams cost money. And when we have our own families and we have jobs that don't provide space for us to pursue dreams, having someone else, especially an entire foundation, stand behind you and say, we believe in you, we're going to invest in you. And it's just I'm just very humbled and grateful for the opportunity.
Being here is so validating in an environment where you don't always feel supported in what you're trying to do. And so to be chosen and for, several people to tell you, we think you have something. We think you can do so much good for children's literature through what you're trying to do. And for them to say, come here and do it, is so enriching in ways I can't even really explain. So thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a huge blessing for me. I've got 2 amazing young women in college, and I getting the emails, hey, tuition is due. So this opportunity will allow Mom to do something that she's always wanted to do since she's been little. I've been an avid reader, writer, very introspective, and it's just now time to take all of these things that I've witnessed, I've seen, I've experienced, I've grown from, and put those words and those ideas on paper. A couple of years ago, I had put a deposit on summer camp, and then I got hit with this bill. My daughter didn't get a scholarship. And now I'm able to come here for free. Not that it's free, but it's endowed and it's being sponsored. But it just feels really, really wonderful that this can be given to mom, because as moms, we're always sacrificing. We want the best for our kids. And this feels like self-care to me. It feels like a gift, and I want to treat this gift very, very carefully. And I want to one day give it to someone else, the next set of fellows. What can I do for them? So thank you so much, George.
And I think that's the beauty of this program, was to set it in a way where it wasn't about the financial cost of the professional development. It was about the quality of your work and how you can have that time that you need to work on your writing. So thank you, all three of you, for being a part of this. I look forward to seeing you in September when we have our official Diversity Fellowship kickoff with the entire group of
So excited.
mentors and fellows.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.